What's up, everybody? Welcome to the DLLS Stream House. It's going to be a weird stream, but I'm excited to have you with me because you're my friends. I'm watching the combine while I do this, and I need you to know that. Also, we finished up doing our show at the combine, and my designated walker and I, Jesse Holly, went to the same place we've eaten our last 3 meals, right by the stadium. And I started drinking beer. So I've had some. And you need to know that before this stream starts, okay? You need to know that. That's why we're going to hydrate now, but we are going to talk about what we've seen at the combine. We're going to do both of those things. We're going to play a game of is it the hot dog or is it the bun?
Now this is a hot dog bun. I think it's a hot dog too.
You guys let me know if you have any questions. The rule is I'm going to do a stream every night about what we've learned at the combine. And so I'm here. And I'm going to tell you what we've learned at the combine today, and it's 2 things. Rudy said, but which beer? The answer is Miller Lite. We learned 2 things. As producer John's eye in the screen, and he's going to hit buttons that are going to do stuff, and you're not going to worry about any of that, okay? You're just going to let it happen. It's going to be great. 2 things we learned at the combine today, and that we're continuing to learn. Sonny Styles is a freaking alien. That's what we've learned. An alien. And it was about, how long ago was it? A couple months when I started watching tape, right? There are disadvantages and advantages to watching tape after people who do it year round. Because what I knew about Sonny Styles was, oh, he's considered the 2nd or 3rd linebacker, maybe a 1st-round pick, and this is about halfway through the college football season when I started watching tape. And I watched Sonny Styles, and I went, oh, my God. And then the rest of the season happened, and everybody updated their before college football season started or early college football thoughts. And it was like, oh, yeah, he's definitely a 1st-rounder. And it's not him versus C.J. Allen for linebacker 2. That's the best off-ball linebacker in the class. And now it's gone all the way to, my God, what an alien. Sonny Styles jumped 43.5 inches in the vert. He's 6'5". I believe it said that was the highest vert of a guy that is over 6'4" in like, I don't know, 700 years. Maybe it was 20. I don't know. His broad jump was over 11 feet. Is he running? If he runs, he'll run in here in a couple of minutes, and he's going to run a 4.4 something. He might touch the 4.3s. And yet, 3 mock drafts came out today from Bucky, Daniel Jeremiah, and maybe Charles Davis. And 2 of them had him going 15th. So you're not going to talk me off of wanting him. Sonny Styles at 12. Let's get it. That would be amazing. It would be absolutely amazing. So the first thing we've learned today at the combine is that Sonny Styles is everything anybody who loves him said he was, and then some. And that goes against rule number 1.3.b for me, which is don't count it twice. Sonny Styles is big and athletic. But still, it's so impressive. It's so impressive. The other thing that we learned at the combine today is that Florida defensive tackle Caleb Banks is an alien. And I don't know how he's not the first defensive tackle drafted. He played in 3 games this year, and the tape's kind of meh, if we're being honest. But when you find the guys who are different, like we're talking about the best on the planet when you're talking about the NFL, right? We're talking about the guys who are the best on the planet at this, and you're going to have so many incredible athletes. When you find one who massively stands out in that group, you get drafted high. And Florida's Caleb Banks is, what was he, 6'5", 6'6"? And he's 300 and almost 30 pounds. And the comp they put up on the screen was DeForest Buckner because they're the same kind of athlete. And he's almost 40 pounds heavier than DeForest Buckner. Caleb Banks is a freak show. Now, we can't draft a D tackle. If we could, Caleb Banks at 20 would be amazing. It would be amazing. Like the guy, Jesse, who's the guy I liked last year? The D tackle? Who's the D tackle I liked last year? I forgot again. We talked about it a minute ago. The guys who have the moments on tape where you go, oh my God, that's not normal. Where it's just yap, yap, and doing things to grown, incredible football players that you're not supposed to be able to do. Caleb Banks does some of that. Then he tests as a nose tackle, a big nose tackle. It's like an athletic 3 technique. That's not normal, man. It's not normal. And when you do stuff that's not normal, that's how you get drafted high. Williams in the super chat. Oh, we love a good super chat. This seems to happen every year, a player just out of reach. We'll see. We'll see if he's out of reach. Because here's the trouble with out of reach. Out of reach, I'm going to get told that 18 guys are out of reach, and the Cowboys pick 12. So we'll see. We'll see. If Sonny Styles makes it to the Cowboys, they need to pick him. And then we got some stuff in the chat here. DT's off the boys board in the first 100 picks from Ethan. And then we got then get rid of Clark. And I don't know if they will, but again, I think the best teams are open to everything when it comes to team building, right? The Cowboys should be open to getting rid of a D tackle. Now, here's the crazy thing that I said, and keep in mind I've had a couple. But I said to Jesse on the way home, like, they might trade Quinnen Williams. Is that realistic? Probably not, right? He's the crown jewel of what you eventually kind of sort of got back for Micah Parsons because Kenny Clark wasn't good enough, so they had to go do more, and they had to go give up basically what they traded for Parsons for another defensive tackle. But in the shoddy presser today, like he talked about, yeah, Kenny's got the most experience at the nose. Osa's big enough and long enough to play a 5 technique, be a defensive end for us. And he specifically said before he said all of this, like, Quinnen really liked the attacking front, playing the 4-3, but 3-4 is best for our team. And I'm like, oh, sounds like Quinnen wasn't loving what you guys are changing to. And not that it's an old school 3-4 where everybody's just 2-gapping. And I don't think Quinnen would really get moved. And I'm not trying to move a guy on the chance that a certain guy's available at a certain pick. I'm just spitballing because I've had a few. That's all. Ethan said, I'd trade Osa for a 3rd. I don't know if Osa's tradable. I'd have to go look up the contract. But when a guy just got paid, it's really hard to trade a guy because you just eat all of that guaranteed signing bonus money immediately when you trade him. And the Cowboys aren't in the best cap spot, so trading Osa is probably not realistic. You could trade or cut Kenny Clark easily. You could probably do the same with Quinnen. The difference is that Quinnen is a big-time difference maker, and so that's probably not realistic. I'm just throwing out based on the 2 guys that I've seen that have been incredibly impressive at the combine so far. Sonny Styles, Caleb Banks. Now, I'll tell you the guy that I think the Cowboys really want at 12. And I don't know if they'd be willing to move up, but I know who they really want at 12. It's Caleb Downs from Ohio State. And I don't think he's going to tear up the combine. I think he's like a 4-5 guy. He'll measure in at 5'11", 200 pounds or whatever. He's not going to test as a freak athlete. He's just so freaking good at football. And I think that's who they really want. In their dream world, he's available at 12. And he doesn't play safety for them. He plays the nickel. He plays the Nick Saban star, which is where we are in the NFL today. Where when you can find the guy that makes you substitute proof, it changes everything. Because a team can run out 2 tight ends, a team can run out 3 tight ends, a team can run out 1 tight end and 3 wide receivers. And when you don't care because you have a player that's cool with whatever they do, that's what they want. They want the guy that can cover your tight end, can cover your slot receiver, can blitz off the edge, can play in the box, can go blow up screens. That's what they're looking for, is they would love to have Caleb Downs. Compare Byron Jones and Caleb Downs if you can. Roman Wolf Gaming is a regular here, and I love him. I don't think there's almost any similarities to them. Like Byron Jones was a freaky athlete who at UConn played outside corner, and like it's not that he wasn't averse to contact, but Caleb Downs is like a savant at football. And listening to him at the podium today, he was like, yeah, I was around NFL players with my dad, my brother's in the NFL. Like I knew I was going to play in the NFL. I never doubted it whatsoever. Like he has the brain for this stuff, and he was born and raised with the brain for this stuff. Like he just does everything before everybody else. Arvell Reese is about to run a 40. And if you don't think that I'm going to stop broadcasting to see what he runs, prediction on Arvell Reese, I'm going to say 4.52. Oh, that old Steelers coach at the line stopped him. If you guys don't watch the combine all the time, that guy, Byron was a safety who drove in the first round. But Byron was a corner at UConn, and he was a corner for the Cowboys. People thought that he could be a safety, but he played outside corner at UConn and then played corner for the Cowboys. I got 4.52 for Reese. What do you guys got? Is somebody ahead of me? Did he already run a 4.62? Austin, if you're cheating, that's not appreciated. Let's see. What's the leaderboard look like? Kyle Lewis at 4.5. Anthony Hill at 4.59. Anthony Hill might be the name at 20. Anthony Hill might be a guy that the things they talked about today, playing outside linebacker, like he's a pretty good pressure player for a linebacker. He's a pretty good moving forward guy. He's got a little bit of the coverage stuff. Anthony Hill might be in play at 20. All right. Let's see what we got here. I hope you guys are throwing out predictions and you're not ahead of me on TV. All right, here goes Arvell. Why are they giving me the 10-yard split? 4.53. I was off by 0.01. It's almost like I do this stuff. Arvell Reese is so good. Jesse, if you don't think I'm streaming right now, watching, talking about it, you're wrong. He wanted us to know that Arvell ran a 4.53. Solid Duck said, I know Styles is a physical beast, but he's still an off-the-ball linebacker. It's this draft. This draft elevates Sonny Styles. Because you tell me the no doubt offensive tackles, wide receivers, pass rushers, corners, the premier positions with the premier prospects, you tell me who they are. They're not there. I really like Mansour Delane. He's not going to measure as a prototype. He's not going to run as the prototype. He's not going to run at all today. Jacob Rodriguez on the 40. 4.61's good for Jacob Rodriguez. That's a second-round pick. Jacob's a second-round pick. And so Arvell Reese is awesome. But I'll tell you this about Arvell Reese. The people who were talking about playing him as a full-time edge, you probably need to stop. I mean, just based on weight, length, like he's an outlier. He's an outlier who wasn't a good pass rusher in college. Arvell Reese is going to be a linebacker that rushes the passer. Now, at 12, he'd fit here because when I tell you the stuff that Arvell Reese does is when he's moving forward, when he's blitzing, when he really gets to tee off and rush the passer, boy, the way that the physicality, the strength combined with the agility and the contact balance, the way he finds his way to a quarterback while smashing into people, it's unique. Arvell Reese is an absolute stud, but I don't think he's an edge rusher. I think he can line up there, but I don't think he's an edge rusher. So Caleb Downs is projected higher than Styles. What's this guy doing? 4.58 from an Iowa backer. Projected higher than Styles, but he's 0.1 slower than Styles. Well, they haven't run yet. 4.5 inches shorter, 50 pounds lighter. Makes sense. Would have rather Styles at safety or Downs at linebacker? Obvious. Well, Styles isn't going to play safety. What makes Downs super valuable is today's NFL. You're not going to line up Sonny Styles as your nickel back and cover a slot receiver. You're not going to line up Styles and play a deep half. But Caleb Downs will do the other things that Sonny Styles is going to do. And you're trying to turn me against my grown adult son, Sonny Styles, and you're not going to do it. But Caleb Downs is like if Jamal Adams could cover. Like Caleb Downs is, Sonny's getting ready to run. Sonny's going to outrun Arvell Reese. Sonny is going to go 4-4-7. And if he beat it, I wouldn't be shocked. Like a 4-5-2 or whatever for him would be great. But I think Sonny's got 4-4 in there. And if he touched 4-3, it would be amazing. Is that a bad start? 4-4-9. It's a freak show. That dude's a freak show. You can't hear it because I'm wearing a headset. But in the background, I can hear Jesse in the other room. And the first thing he goes is, hoo, hoo, hoo. And then he goes, sheesh. God, Sonny Styles is a stud. Get him to 12. Get him to 12. All right, so we've got a gentleman in the chat who's a Caleb Downs doubter. Caleb Downs doubter. And I support that. I mean, I support anybody's thoughts. If you watch these guys and you have opinions, I'm good with it. But yes, I think Caleb Downs can cover your tight end and your slot receiver. And then will be awesome in the box because the way he anticipates, the way he sees route combinations, the way that he times snaps, I think Caleb Downs can do everything. Sonny Styles is awesome. He's so awesome. I want Sonny Styles on every football team I ever watch. If it turns out that Sonny Styles isn't good, I'll lose my mind. Why can't Styles play outside linebacker? He maybe could, but his best stuff, like athletically, it's going to say that he can, but his best stuff is not as a blitzer or as a rusher. Like at Ohio State, they would play him and Arvell Reese both at linebacker, depending on formation. And then sometimes one of them played linebacker and one of them lined up on the edge. And 2/3 of the time, the guy who lined up on the edge is Arvell Reese, who I think is better at that, at least at this point. There's nothing about Sonny Styles athletically that says he couldn't line up out there and play it. But it's not what I have on tape of him. Now, I didn't have tape of Micah Parsons coming out of college being an edge rusher, and he's one of the best on the planet at it, one of the two best. And so maybe he could. I mean, he's freaky. They're comparing Styles to Fred Warner on the combine comparisons. So that tells you something. They're not allowed to do that. They're not allowed to do that because that's my comparison. That's how I sold Jesse Holley on taking an off-ball linebacker at 12. I said, you know what my nickname for him is? My little Fred. That's my little Fred Warner. I can't call him little, though, because he's 6'5". Yeah, Jesse just said I'm sold. I don't think we get to be sold anymore. I think we need to be sold on blocking him while he's playing for Washington. That's what I think we need to be sold on. Yeah. So anyway, Sonny Styles is tearing up the combine. Caleb Banks tore up the combine. We got to rethink a little bit. David Bailey. I can't believe David Bailey kept working out. On his first run, as soon as he reached for his quad/groin, I was like, he's done. And he ran again. And then he did drills, and he kept grabbing for it. And I'm like, you don't have to do this. But he's had a great combine. I love this stuff. I love this stuff. Is this live? Yes, it is, Mo. I'm petrified of McCoy, but I know he's going to be 12. I don't think so. And I'm basing this on nothing. But they keep running mock drafts at the bottom of the screen that I guess came out today. And 2 of the 3 had Jermod McCoy to the Cowboys. And when you're talking about immediate impact and stepping in and helping the team, I guess check back in after his pro day. But to be, 14 months and change off of an ACL and not work out, if you would work out well, I don't know, man. That's hard. And even if he works out his pro day, to be when you get to the season almost 2 years removed from playing football, and to think you're going to, 4.52 Anthony Hill. That might need to be a guy I revisit, who I did not love his tape, but he could be a candidate at 20. If you're looking for a guy to play outside linebacker that has some pass rush chops, but could also drop, we'll need to figure out what the Cowboys think about Anthony Hill Jr. That's what we're going to need to do. What do you think about Ruben Bain's arm length? Well, I think it's super short. Ruben Bain's tricky. I'm not betting against Ruben Bain. In this draft class, I still think I would pick him in the top 10. I would pick him at 12. My only question would be for the Cowboys, I guess he's one of your 3 down guys, because you're not going to ask Ruben Bain to be a sometimes dropper who rushes the passer, I don't think. Not with his build, not with the way that he moves. He's a down guy. And so I think really he's a 4-3 end. But in this class, with his tape, I'm still not scared of Ruben Bain. And I know he's a massive outlier. No one with as short arms as Ruben Bain has ever been picked in the top 100. And so you go in knowing I'm betting on an outlier. And if I'm wrong and he's not good, you got to eat that one because your metrics told you. But I also think guys built like that don't get a chance a lot. And guys built like that, when's the last time a guy built like that had the tape he has playing against the competition he has? Never? I'll bet on Ruben Bain. Is Howell an outlier? Yeah, and even bigger than Bain. His arm length has never been drafted in the NFL as a pass rusher. And Floyd's in the chat, Micah's arms. Micah's arms are 31.5 or 32, depending on which source you check. But nobody under 31 has been a top 100 pick. And nobody at 30 and 1/8, which I think is what Hal had, or 30 and a quarter. And I don't know if it's ever or if it's like the last 20 years, but has been drafted. And that's what Cassius Howell is. But I also think the NFL is changing all the time. Ruben Bain's arm length doesn't scare me because I've watched him play against 35-inch arm tackles and they can't touch him. If I do this, it doesn't, like, you could have 42-inch arms and you can't touch me. If I'm turned sideways and I'm long arming you in the chest, you can't get your hands on me if your arms are 10 inches longer than mine. You can't. And Ruben Bain takes advantage of his short arms because of the way that he combats long arm people. It's with quick, powerful swats. Like, he'll hammer you down. He got a hump move to him. Yeah. Arvell Reese, 447. What did Sonny do? 449? Sonny better beat him. Sonny better beat him. I have a big arms. I don't even know what that means. I missed a movie, it looks like. If we trade for Minka, is Downs off the board? No, because they would play different spots. And I don't know what Minka has left, if we're being honest. No, if Caleb Downs is a Cowboy, he's going to play the nickel. He's going to play the slot, and you still need a starting safety. My understanding is they plan to keep Malik Hooker, and he's probably one of your safeties unless you're going to sign 2 free agent safeties to take his job. The guy who you might want to keep in mind, honestly, at 20 is Emmanuel McNeil Warren from Toledo. 4.58 for Jacob Rodriguez is really good. Because that's another guy that could do the same thing that I'm talking about with Downs, where you're talking about a guy who can play a deep half, does have the size and the length that Downs doesn't have, where you could step down and you could play when they go multiple tight ends as sort of a weak side linebacker. You can play the nickel. You could play a deep half. You could play kind of everything. Emmanuel McNeil Warren, I think, is a name to know at number 20. I do want Mansour Delane, though. I think that's very possible at 12, and I'm good with that. Minkus cap is 18.8. I'm out. I like him. Why isn't he talked about more? Who are you talking about, Craig? Who are you talking about? Is that McNeil Warren? Is that who you're talking about? Tiananmen. So if you had Tiananmen, I think he would play one of your actual two safety spots. And I like him. Like, I think he's rock solid. And at 20, is he going to be a top 20 player for me? Maybe. But, like, I think I'd take Avion Terrell over him and pop him into the nickel. And he'd be a small nickel, but that dude's a psycho. He has no idea he's small. He has no idea. I'm going to do a super to call you out for wanting to draft T-Rex arm pass rushers at 12 and 20. Look, you can have T-Rex arms as long as you also play like a T-Rex. Nobody stops Ruben Bain from doing what he wants to do on a football field. Captain Tradeback needs to ride, trade 20, but you could trade both of them down, I bet. I'd be happy with that. I want so many picks. This is not me. This is not me bitching. This is just me saying. This is the wrong year to have 2 first-round picks and to have traded away the better first-round pick of the 2 next year. This is backwards. In this draft, I want every pick I can get in the first 2 to 3 rounds because I think there's starters all over the place, but there's not stars. Sonny, attempt number 2. Sonny Arvell went 4.47. Most people don't run faster on their second 40 because you're a little bit tired. You may not realize it, but you are. I think you got a better get off that time, though. 4.47. I need 11 teams to not want a linebacker. I need 11 teams to not want a linebacker. I need that cyborg on this team. They're going to be aggressive in free agency. They have to. They absolutely have to because Shoddy told a lie at the presser today. Well, let me not say he told a lie. Unless they're very aggressive in free agency, Shoddy told a lie. He referenced CeeDee Lamb, where it's like talking about the draft and, what's the plan there? And he said, well, best player available. CeeDee Lamb fell to 17. You have to take him. That's how you end up with that sort of player. And I agree with him. But unless the Cowboys sign a starting safety, a starting corner, a starting outside backer / edge, a starting inside linebacker, at least those 4, unless they sign all 4 of those before the draft, they can't pick BPA. They can't pick the best player available. They can't. They have to pick defense. They have so many needs, and you can run out the offense you have right now. In a perfect world where you've acquired talent throughout the last 4 years, which they haven't, but in a perfect world, like you're drafting for the best players and you're thinking about the future and who might not be here next year. Like Overshown's going into his last year. Can we get ready for who's going to take that job next? Can we? And you think about that at different spots. They can't because they have massive holes on who's going to start for my team. So they got to do a lot in free agency if they want to honestly be able to pick the best player. Because you tell me, could they pick an offensive player at 12? Let's say, and this is not impossible, let's say the best 4 players on your board play offense when you're on the clock. I don't think they could pick any of them. Let's say your best players are Francis Maui-Noah, who could be your next right tackle. Spencer Fano, can we do Fano? I mean, he is a right tackle. I think he's an NFL guard, and you don't need that. You can't pick a receiver. So if Carnell Tate, Malachi Lemon, Jordan Tyson, whoever, Jeremiah Love's there, like whatever. If the best 4 players are offensive players, you have to pick your 5th best player available because of where this team is, and that's not good. So they got to do some stuff. Anyway, that's a stream. That's me talking to you guys. I love you. Hit the like button on your way out. Make sure you're following both the DLLS Sports account and my little tiny personal YouTube page. Let's have a time. We'll do this again tomorrow. I don't have a set time for these. John texted me. John's our producer. He's the best producer on the planet. He texted us while Jesse and I were out there eating food and drinking beer. And he was like, when are you going to do this? And I was like, Jesse, I got to go back. I told everybody else I'm going to do this every day. And if I don't go right now, I'm going to keep cranking it up. No, Jesse's not under the bus. No, Jesse's not under the bus. He's not under the bus. I was just saying that I told you that if I don't go soon, I probably won't make it because I might order a fireball. And so we came back when we had to come back. And now we're probably going to go back out. Good combine chat. Thanks for hanging out with me, guys. I love you. I mean that. I love you. Somehow, my dumb ass has made a career by talking about Cowboys and the NFL draft, and by God, I like it. I like hanging out with you guys. Remember, you have no idea what anyone's going through. Be cool to everybody. Oh, wait, John, what's the thing I got to hit? End screen and then end. I see it. Remember, you have no idea what anyone's going through. Be cool to everybody. I love you. Be easy. Is it playing? I don't know. I'm just going to hit end.